Hi, I'm Dr. Jared Gardner, and today I've got a special treat for you. If you don't like this, I don't know how to make you happy, but it also might creep you out a little bit. This is an example of crusted scabies on a skin scraping preparation. So instead of taking a biopsy from the skin, sometimes for scabies and also for other things like fungal infections, you can actually take a blade, the dermatologist will take a blade and scrape the area of the skin to get some of the dead keratin off the top. And for things like scabies mites, which actually don't dig into the skin itself. They live on the top surface, like they dig underneath the dead keratin, but they don't get down underneath the epidermis and into the dermis. So for things like that, scraping, or for dermatophyte fungus, scraping will take off the keratin with the organisms in it, and then you can look at it under a mineral oil preparation. So anyone who's seen a scabies scraping before may wonder, why does this look red? Well, in this case, my resident didn't have mineral oil handy at the time, but they did have this other dye called Chicago Sky Blue. It's a dye that's supposed to turn fungal organisms blue, and it has kind of a red color to the background. And it worked out beautifully in this case because it made a nice red contrasting background to the scabies mite. So I actually really like this compared to the very light color of the regular mineral oil preparation. The only downside is that I think the dye does kill the scabies mites, and so they're not moving. On mineral oil, sometimes you can see them move. So now let's look at what we're dealing with here. So here is a really cool arrangement because here you've got the scabies mite, the mama scabie, and right next to it, all these little ovals, those are eggs. And the scabies mite here you can see there's its head up here. This is super disturbing, right? Makes you itch already. So the head and mouth parts are right in this area here, okay? And then there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 legs there, and the other legs, I think, on the other side. So these are arachnids. They have actually 8 legs, but we can see about 4 of them in this view, and I think the others are down on the bottom side. So scabies, like all other mites, are arachnids. And also, you can see this really cool thing that I had not seen before. I think this is like either the abdominal belly part of the scabies or maybe the back. I'm not sure which, but you have spines here. So these spines are a well-known thing. They have like these kind of double sabered spikes that are on the scabies. Sometimes you can see those detach and be present in the skin surface on a biopsy, and it's a nice clue for the diagnosis. But what I hadn't seen before were these little shark tooth looking triangle shaped kind of spikes, which are really cool. So I'm flipping the condenser back and forth here to kind of give you, this is the condenser up. And here, when I turn it off, you get a more three-dimensional view. And also what you can see are these ridges on the exoskeleton of the scabies mites. So other types of arthropods, these ridges like Demodex mites, you can see these ridges on them as well. And other sorts of arthropods like insect fragments sometimes will have those. So those ridges are in the exoskeleton of the mite. And I'm not an expert on mite anatomy, so there's probably a lot more stuff here that I don't know about. But I just thought that was such a cool view here. And then you can also see, oh wait, I think these are the other legs, sorry. I'm focusing in and out because this mite is a three-dimensional structure. As I focus up and down, you can see some parts come into focus and some parts go out of focus. So these are the remaining legs, and they've got these hairs on the end of them. Aren't those interesting? Anyone who's watching this who's an entomologist, feel free to leave a comment down below and explain what all these different parts are called and what they do. All I know is that these things, when they're on the skin, they cause inflammation and really bad itching. So scabies, most people that have scabies will often just have a few organisms on their whole body surface, actually, maybe, 5 or 10 in the web space of the hands or other areas where they burrow along and dig through the keratin. But people with crusted scabies, or what used to be called Norwegian scabies, even though it has nothing to do with the country Norway, the scabies mites are the same. They don't originate from Norway or anything like that. But if you ever hear Norwegian scabies, the more proper modern term is crusted scabies. Those people get really extensive skin involvement, and they tend to have numerous mites present on their body surface. So sometimes those cases can be so severe that they mimic other things. I've seen cases where they clinically to the dermatologist looked like psoriasis or even ichthyosis or really bad eczema or contact dermatitis. And then on scraping or on biopsy, there were numerous scabies mites present. And so that's called crusted scabies. So now let's go away from the mite and look at her eggs. So all of these are scabies eggs. And what I thought was really cool, let me see if I can get it into focus here. Some of them just have little bubble like kind of debris inside. But as we go over here, look at these. These actually have little baby mites, and you can see it's got a head, with mouth parts, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we can't see the other two legs, but you can actually see the whole mite in there, and it's developing and ready to hatch out. And there's another one with the baby mite inside. This is like something straight out of the movie Aliens, right? It's very disturbing. And look, here is an empty eggshell that has broken open and the little baby mite has hatched out. So you can see it's really cool here because you've got a whole row of eggs in various, I guess, stages of development, plus a hatched egg over there. And I thought that was pretty awesome. And all this stuff in the background is probably dead keratin debris from the patient's skin surface. Okay, so that is a really cool arrangement. But wait, there's more. If you're still watching, I'm going to show you some other areas with different stuff. Because like I said, this, if you're lucky on a patient with scabies, you might get one mite, or sometimes you don't even see the mite. Sometimes you just see the eggs or the egg shells or the scabies fecal material called scabala, which I'll show you a bunch of in a minute. But in this patient, like I said, it was crusted scabies, so they have tons of scabies mites. So let me find you the other area. Here's another one. This is a big sheet of all this white kind of pale stuff, is keratin debris from the skin surface. And right here, we've got another scabies mite hanging out there, all right? And this one is a whole fragment of a pale, that pale stuff right here. This is all a big sheet of dead keratin. And when we go down inside that, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 mites there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So all sorts of mites. And then, there they are up close. And then eggshells. Eggshell, eggshell, eggshell. All of those are shells of the eggs that have hatched. And on when you have a skin biopsy, an H&E, hematoxylin eosin stained skin biopsy, sometimes you can see these shells. They look like little curlicues that some people call pigtails. They look like pink pigtails. And those, again, in a case where you don't always get the scabies mite, on a regular H&E skin biopsy, sometimes the eggshells can be a great clue for scabies. And then look at these smaller round structures that are kind of brownish yellow. Those are scabala, which is the fancy name for scabies poop, scabies fecal material. And all of those are little round scabies fecal material, and they're much smaller than the eggshells. So finding those is also a clue when you don't see the actual mite. So here's another view with the condenser flipped off. You can see the kind of a brownish color, and then the bigger fragmented things are the eggshells. And there's another mite. And again, you can see those ridges, you can see the hairs and the spines like I showed you before. I think there's another one up here. Oh, there's more. Look at those. These guys look darker red because there's more dye covering them, more of that Chicago sky blue dye. And they're also covered with some smudgy debris. And there's more scabala in the background there, more fecal material. And I think, if I recall, up here, I think I put a dot. Yep, there's another view. More of the same thing, but pretty cool, right? Again, this is such a great case. This, I think, is the best skin scraping preparation that I've ever seen for scabies in my practice. This is way, way more organisms than normal. And I only see crusted scabies occasionally. Usually when I see scabies, it's just the kind of more conventional form, not the form that's loaded. This form tends to be more common in patients that are immunosuppressed, or sometimes patients are not scratching their skin as much. It seems like those are some theories as to why these organisms get so much more abundant in certain settings. You can go read more about crusted scabies if you want. So really pretty dramatic to see a case with this many organisms. So many thanks to my awesome dermatology resident, Dr. Clayton Curry, for bringing me these really awesome skin scraping slides so that I could use them to make a video and to take some photos. So if you ever get one of these are wet mounted and they don't have cover slipping mounting media. So if you get one, take pictures or make a video right away. Don't wait. The last time I tried to do this, I waited a few days and it dried out and the organisms are still there, but they're really hard to see. So you got to get a nice fresh example. And then I thought this one was particularly nice, this angle here, because you can really see the hairs coming off the legs, including these back ones. I mean, for as nasty and itchy as these things are, they're kind of pretty in their own weird way. But that also is maybe just because I'm a pathologist and I have a weird sense of what's cool. Look at that. I hate it and love it at the same time. And then if we focus all the way through here, we can see again those little spines on the belly down here at the posterior portion of the abdominal of the mite. Again, it's been a while since I thought about entomology type things. So, all right. So the last thing I was going to show was over here to the side, I think. There's another one hanging out there with his little legs. We just see its legs. Maybe he got crushed a little bit, or she. I don't know. I don't know how to tell if scabies are male or female. These are the spines under polarized light examination. So I put in lenses in the microscope, and these are, let me see if I can get it lined up there. These lenses, if you twist them, it'll block light when they line up. So we can put this into the microscope and it will make this polarized view. It's hard to do that live because of the lighting. So I took pictures of it to show you because it looks better this way. So the spines actually brightly glow, this bright white under polarized light examination. And the little triangle ones don't, the little shark tooth ones, but the double kind of saber spines, they glow here. And let's see if I can go. Here's a close-up view on high magnification, just to give you a couple different lighting to see them there. There's another view. So you can see the spines are glowing there. So that can be really helpful because on a skin biopsy, again, if you don't see the mite, sometimes the mites aren't present. Sometimes you'll see little fragments of the spines broken off or of fecal material, scabala, which both of those things will light up. Polarizer under polarized light exam. I don't have an example of the scabala here. It usually is kind of this speckled little polarizing white dots in the middle of the fecal material. And I'll show the fecal material, the scabala, later in the video. So I just wanted to show you what the spines look like polarized because it's a pretty nice example here to see. Oh, here it was. It was back on the other slide. So this is another fragment of keratin, and inside of this one, it's got a lot of the dye, which is why it looks so dark. But look at how many scabala, tons and tons of fecal material. Each of those really dark blobs there are scabies feces. And then in the background, kind of deeper down below it, you can see another scabies mite. And there's another one buried under there. So it was a whole little colony living here. And then there's more eggshells over there to the side. So I see if you stuck around, I hope that was worth it because that's a ton of scabala, a ton of scabies poop there. So this is the best ever example of crusted scabies on a skin scraping preparation. And again, as a special treat that this had the red background because of the Chicago sky blue, which worked out really beautifully in this case. And like I said, I think I prefer it to the real pale color of the mineral oil. So if you have any of this dye around and you're going to do a scraping, give it a try. Maybe make two. Try one with mineral oil and one with this and see what you think. So the good news is that once this is diagnosed, you can use anti-parasitic, anti-mite agents. There's different types, either topical, permethrin, or in fact, this is a time where I believe ivermectin can be used either topically or orally in the proper dosage, of course, and is against these parasitic organisms to kill them off and get the skin back to normal. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I bet you've probably caught yourself scratching your skin and itching. I know whenever I see these, it makes me feel a little itchy. And the teaching is that scabies is highly contagious, and people are always scared when they go and see a patient with scabies. They're like, oh gosh, have I caught the scabies? I've been practicing dermpath for I think 13 years now. I've seen a fair number of cases of scabies and talked to a lot of dermatologists who have seen patients with scabies. And I can't recall ever meeting a dermatologist who told me that they contracted scabies from being in an exam room with a patient with scabies. So I'm sure it can happen, but it must not be as common as we worry about. But it's such a disturbing thought of catching scabies that I think it makes us pretty paranoid. I don't know why it is that scabies get to some people and then don't go to others. Occasionally, there'll be patients with, like one of the cases I've seen of crusted scabies in the past, the patient had numerous organisms, but other people living in the same household and having close contact with the patient didn't actually have scabies. So I'm not sure why it is that scabies home into some people and seem to spare others. Again, if you're out there and you're a scabies expert, please enlighten me. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and have a great day. Color.